welcome to the One Take Science Show, where I'm pretty underpaid. Today, we're going to...
Court is now in session. The court is here today with the cast of the One Take Science Show in order to see if they are really underpaid for what effort they do. With that said, we go to our prosecutors, and for a lack of a better term, we're going to call them workers. Workers?
So, I was finishing the finale of the saga when I was broken into by the police. They were telling me that I had to go to court because apparently Rain signed me up for the court case for underpayment. So, I really have nothing to do with this. So if you need to get words from anyone, I think it's him you need to get to talk to.
Yeah, I noticed we were getting paid in like fractions of Bitcoin, like fractions and fractions of Bitcoin, like really small amounts, not even a dollar's worth a month. So I filed a case and you should get life in prison.
Well, as your manager I have a say in all of these things, so I have decided that due to your horrible actions that you did to me, from punches to getting thrown, I have decided that you should be paid almost nothing. You also slack off during your recording times.
Objection! That's just absurd. We don't ever get off topic while recording. Well, most of the time. Other than that one time. Well, other than that one time that we worked hard, we can prove it using the patented one-take method that we've been using since the first episode. So, it looks a little something like this. Yeah. Hello, welcome to the One Take Science Show, where what we do is known as work, but it's not really your normal kind of work. The scientific definition for work is the force that is exerted on an object in the same direction that it's moving. So, do I really do work? I don't know. Well, to show you guys what work really is, you have to go to my favorite and only field reporter, Rain.
I'm gonna talk to you about work. In order for me to do that, I'm gonna show you a montage. Go.
Oh.
You can't be serious. So far in like 5 minutes of video you have done nothing, absolutely nothing.
Objection!
You can't say that. I spent thousands of hours editing on the worst editing software and on the worst computer. I show you evidence 1.
Brandon, is this correct?
Pretty bad. Sometimes the keys just pop out like popcorn.
Fair point. Continue.
Work has such a love-hate relationship, am I right? Well, only really the kind that pays, I mean. Well, with that I can start to talk about the one last thing about work. You can have two forces acting forward and down on an object, giving it a diagonal motion. There's also the equation to calculate work. You can calculate it with this equation. Force in newtons times the distance in meters, and that'll equal your work in joules. In the next equation, the distance is only the distance an object moves while force is applied. Next is power. And yes, thank you for noticing my humongous muscles. But that has nothing to do with the scientific definition of power. Power is how quickly something can be done. The quicker something can be done, the more power that it uses. Remember Rain's montage? Well, here it is, just with more power. Well, we aren't able to know the exact power in that montage, but if you really want to, you can solve it yourself using this equation. Work in joules divided by the time equals your power in watts. There are many different types of energy, and we have to go to Rain to talk about it.
People sometimes call me the energy man because I'm just so good at explaining energy. First, you must know about potential energy. The first thing you must know is potential energy and kinetic energy. Potential energy is the amount of energy that can be used. The higher up something is off the ground, more potential energy it has. It works even with something with like your hand. You also have kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion. It's just another way to measure how much an object is moving, really. The faster an object moves, the more kinetic energy it has, and the less potential energy that is stored. Every object always has the same total energy, since you could never destroy it or increase your energy. Now, to a word from our sponsors.
The sponsors, since they would have to go through me. This is a sure way to get you in trouble.
You cannot be serious. Those are the stupidest things I've ever heard of. Hello and welcome to Rubber Chicken Train Enterprises, where we pride ourselves in our A, our trains, and B, our chickens. Our chickens are raised with no antibiotics ever, meaning you can eat them if you really want. But you may be wondering, they're rubber chickens. Well, tell me this, why would we not fill our chickens, which don't squeak by the way, sorry if you don't want that, but you can cut them open, put them in some water, then throw it in the microwave. Guess what you can do? Inside, we have mashed potatoes, but not like cooked mashed potatoes, like the flakes that you can make. You can throw that in, and guess what you got? Fast food. Get it? Because it's on a train, and it's moving fast. Well, next you have the engine that you're going to be using, the train. Union Pacific number 1988. It's a twin turbocharger engine. It's got wheels. I don't know where I got this, but I think I got it from corporate. It's very nice, and we would love for you guys to, we would hate it for you guys to miss out on this great deal. So our chickens regulate around the prices of about $5, $12, depending on stocks and the health of the chicken. On the other hand, our ginormous turbocharger engine trains, those range from anywhere to about $500,000 to $1.2 million. So if you want to pair those together, you can get a great price. You'll get great money off it. Also, countless hours of fun with your chicken on top of your train. I forgot to mention, this is actually a replica. You will be getting in a full-size locomotive coming up to your house, and you will not be surprised because it's good. It's so good, I tell you. Yeah. So, please buy it. We've worked so hard on this enterprise. Yeah. Thank you. Wow, this is good. That sure is a great vending machine out there. Wait, machines? Oh yeah, that's the next evidence of the case.
It's almost like you planned this whole court case out to coincide with what is happening in the video.
Welcome to the One Take Science Show, where today we're talking about machines. Hey, stay back! I don't mean you! Well, with the robot takeover crisis over, I can start talking about mechanical advantage. Before I get there, I need to talk about input and output forces. Input forces are the force or forces that you apply to a machine, and output forces are the force that the machine applies. In order to show you things with input and output forces, I have to go to rain.
Why do you cut to rain so often?
I don't know, I'm too lazy to actually do the stuff myself.
Fair enough.
Here I have a sneak peek of one of our simple machines. A screw. I also have this barrel of monkeys. My input force will be pushing and twisting the screw as it impales the barrel. The output force is the screw going into the barrel. Since the screw is a simple machine, then there is a mechanical advantage greater than one. Here we go.
You might have heard Rain talk a bit about mechanical advantage, which is your output force divided by your input force. Some machines make you exert your force over a shorter distance, like this. The mechanical advantage of the rake is less than 1 because the output force is less than the input force. You can also change the direction of the force if you have certain machines, which we'll talk about later. Next is efficiency. Efficiency is the ratio of output force to the input force. It kind of looks like this. The last thing is about lubrication. You can use something that lessens the friction between two objects so that you can move an object quicker with less friction. Lubricant sweeps into the tiny holes of an object and makes less contact points for friction.
Don't tell me you have another bad ad. Nothing can be worse than the chicken though.
We'll have to see about that.
Welcome back to the One Take Science Show, where I'm very simple. I'm not a machine. Hey, and we're talking about simple machines. There are a machine that only goes through one movement. There are 6 different simple machines to get to, but you're gonna have to wait. There are also compound machines, which are multiple simple machines put together to make one big machine. Let's go to Rain for more.
Hey guys, I have an inclined plane here. I know it's an inclined plane because it has a slope and it is flat. The longer an inclined plane is from the point where the height and the length intersect, the easier it is, since the mechanical advantage increases if the height stays the same. For example, if I take this with the really big steep one, if I take this with a big steep slope, that was so hard to do. But if we make it less steep, that was so much
You
easier.
really should invest in ramps. It's just another excuse to skip the stairs, I guess. Well, there's also wedges, which is just an inclined plane that can move. It kind of looks like this, kind of like my piece of pie. You also have some in your mouth. What to the person sitting next to you? How do their chompers hold up? Are they good enough to chomp through a nice juicy apple or a tender steak? Then this next simple machine is a screw, but Rain talked about that in the last section, so I'll brush over it again quickly. So you take a screw, which is really just an inclined plane wrapped around a nail. The more wraps it has, the more friction it has, making it stay in place for longer. So you can find the mechanical advantage by taking the length of the inclined plane and dividing it by the length of the screw. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Well, next we're going to talk about wheels and axles, but I kind of gotta go to the bathroom, so come with me. Here you have your humble door. On it we have a knob, but what you can't see inside is the axle that it spins around. So when you grab it and twist, there's a mechanical advantage at play of the axle and the knob. Since the knob's so much bigger than the axle, it's much easier to twist it than just grabbing the axle, making it so you can keep your door shut without any problems. You can find out the mechanical advantage by dividing the radius of the wheel by the radius of the axle. The mechanical advantage of this doorknob is 2. It sits though on the box. We also have pulleys to talk about. Let's go to Rain.
Sorry about that, but I'll have to talk about levers now without Brandon, since he's in the hospital. A lever is known as any rigid rod or plank that pivots or rotates around a point. That point is known as the fulcrum. Here we have a lever. My fulcrum is in the center, and each of them is about a foot away. It's balanced. And we have a mechanical advantage of 1. However, if I move it over here per se, and we put the input over here, see, here I have a pulley. Since it's only one pulley, it has a mechanical advantage of 1. A second arm is now acting as a pulley, therefore its mechanical advantage is now 2.